What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Maker's Gonna Learn. I'm super excited to share with you another amazing member-only video. Today, I'm going to be teaching you all how to work with a basic mandala. Now, this is going to come from our new amazing mandala collection from April. There's a lot of them in there, and you might be questioning, how exactly do I use it? What are the ins and outs of using these multi-layer paper mandalas? So I'm going to go through that with you guys today. So this is going to be a really fun, informative video. We're going to be using one of our brand new mandalas, and then we are actually going to be leaving the colors as is to share with you all how easy it is to match up colors with your own paper stock that you have. You can just choose colors that you have that match best with this. I would recommend that as a beginner as well if you're doing this first, because it can be a little daunting to see all these colors in Design Space and have all different types of colors of paper that do not match the cut file. So we're going to keep it super basic today and keep the cut file colors the same through our cardstock. So along with this amazing little tutorial today, I have also gotten some shadow box options for you all, some from Amazon that you guys can kind of look at. I'll tell you which one's my favorite. I'll tell you why I like them, why I don't. Now, I wanted to keep it under $20 because any more than that for one shadow box is kind of crazy. I will let you guys know my favorite shadow box is actually the cheapest one as well, so that's definitely exciting. So I can't wait to be able to share with you guys the prices of those, even though, keep in mind, Amazon prices do change a lot, but these were the prices when we bought them. Hopefully they don't raise too much, and we love using shadow boxes. So I wanted to compare and contrast a couple for you. I'll have all of these supplies that I'm using today along with the written instructions for you as well. So along with our shadow box and all of our amazing paper, we're going to be using our ATG gun, which is our Scotch tape glider. Any type of dry adhesive is fine. You can even use foam dots for this if you want to. Just really be aware some of these pieces are little bitty. We also have our Zig two-way glue pen. Now again, this is going to be amazing for those little bitty pieces. You want something that doesn't require a big space. So this little glue pen to just be able to kind of mark in there on those little areas that need to be glued is going to be super helpful. So I think that is all that we need for this craft today. If there's any other supplies, I will of course link them for you guys and let you know, but we're going to go ahead and jump into Design Space and share with you guys how we size this cut file and how not to be intimidated by this in Design Space. Okay, so I just popped this cut file into Design Space, okay? It uploaded around like 13 inches. I just sized it down to 8 because all of these shadow boxes we're going to be using today are 8 by 8, which means that we can also use 8.5 by 11 cardstock instead of 12 by 12. There's just kind of a lot of waste for me. I don't feel the need to save cardstock if I cut like a 12 by 12 piece, 8 by 8. There's just not a lot of real estate left in that cardstock, so I don't really use it, and it's super sad. So I love that we won't waste at that much, and we're going to be using 8.5 by 11 cardstock, so that is awesome. So today we have this sized at 8 inches. You can see all of our layers here in the layers panel, as this is an SVG, and don't be overwhelmed, don't be alarmed, guys. Everything is pre-sized as well. So what we're going to be able to do is go ahead and click Make It. And this mat right here, or excuse me, this screen right here rather, is the best place to match up your colors for your cardstock, 100%. So here you can see we have a light pink, more of an orangey color, a really light peachy color. We have another orangey color. So this one is more this one is a little bit more pinky than orange, but that number 4 is definitely orange. This one is a pretty green. This one is like I don't know, like an aloe-y, mossy color. Super pretty though. This is pretty much like mint green. We have a darker blue here. This I would consider like a plum, like a dark purple. And then we have a pretty regular pink here. This is a almost fuchsia-ish pink. So I will show you the paper choices that I have chosen. So we're gonna go back up to mat 1 and go ahead and cut these all out. Now while they're cutting, guys, I will let you know it could be super overwhelming. You could be thinking, well, how in the world am I supposed to put these together? How do I know which to put over which? We're gonna do a little bit of a trick in Design Space after we get these all cut out. So So just take a deep breath and just enjoy this. Cut them all out. Make sure that you're not doing too many other things on your device. Just give a lot of time for the Cricut to do its job here. This is going to be a lot of intricate cutting. So make sure you have a mat that is walking that very fine line between sticky enough to hold paper down but not too sticky that it'll rip paper, because some of these designs are very delicate. You also want to go ahead and change your blade, guys. I'm sorry to say this, even if your blade is kind of fresh, get a brand new blade, brand new. You want this thing to cut really, really well, and the only way it's going to do that is if the blade is nice and sharp. These are too detailed of cuts, basically to waste, so we don't want to do that. So go ahead and change your blade, get a good mat. We're using a dull standard grit mat, but if you don't have one of those, I would consider, heavily consider using a light grit mat. Okay, so we're going to select paper here. So we're going to do cardstock, and you can see all of our choices for cardstock here. I'm going to choose medium cardstock, which is around 80 pounds, and I'm going to leave that on default pressure, especially because we're putting a brand new blade in our machine. And then we'll go through, I'll show you all these beautiful colors here, and then we'll go ahead and cut all of these out. Okay guys, I wanted to go ahead and share with you these shadow boxes that we got. All these off of Amazon. Excuse my homeschool handwriting chicken scratch, but these were just little notes for me to know the price and everything like that. So let's start with this guy here, who is like a black wood color. The back is really nice. It has a little kickstand on it. It has these nice little turners to be able to open the back. It has a little tooth here to be able to be put on a wall. It's very well made. The only thing is there's no glass. It's completely empty and no glass. It came with some little hooks and some little strings and some pins if you wanted to pin things down. So this is what this one is. Now this guy was $17.97 on Amazon. Again, prices change on Amazon. We have to make that disclaimer. If you go and check the price, it could be higher or lower. We're not in control of that, but when we bought it, that's how much it cost. Now again, this is a very well made, this is probably the most well made out of all of them. This wood is really pretty, and I do want to say, I don't know if it picks up quite on camera as well as it should, but it is black, but it is like wood grain. So like you can see the pretty wood grain. It looks really nice. So I really like this shadow box, and for some projects that we do with shadow boxes, we actually don't want glass anyways. So this would be great for those if you're in the market. Now next is this white one. Now this does not have any wood grain. It's just plain white. This is probably closest to like the ones that you'll find at Hobby Lobby with these little metal bending teeth to open and close it. It has a little strip on it to be hung on a wall. It is glass, and then the backing has a fabric batting on it. So much like this one that you can like stick pins in, you can do the same thing with this one. It has a little foam batting and fabric over that, just like a cotton canvas fabric, nothing crazy. And again, we would be covering that up with most of what we would use anyways. Now this one was $16.99 off of Amazon, which again, not a great price, not a terrible price. I've probably paid more for them when they weren't on sale at like Hobby Lobby or something like that. But if you can find them on sale, of course, it's definitely better. Now this is my personal favorite of the day. This one is smaller, so you can see, look at the side of this one versus the side of this one. It's super small. I'll show a side comparison of this one too. So you can see it is smaller. It does have a area in the middle where a shadow box can, shadow box things can go, but not as much as this one because it is smaller, which I like for the type of mandala we're doing today. So this is probably the one that we're going to be using today. It is nicely made. It has this kind of faux wood texture on it that's kind of gray and distressed, and I like it a lot. This was also the cheapest of today's finds. This was off of Amazon for $12.91. So I know it's an odd price. Again, guys, Amazon and their prices are kind of odd, but those are all the shadow boxes that we got, and I was super excited to share those with you. So yeah, if you're in the market to get any of these, I'll have these linked with the rest of the supplies if you would like to pick them. I will say they all do have different finishes as well. I just wanted them all to be different so it was easier for me and easier for you guys to see. So I got one black, one white, and one kind of like a gray distressed, but they do have other options in all three of these styles. So I hope that you enjoyed that. Now since this is probably the one that we're going to use, I'm probably going to keep him here and then place these other ones to the side. Now let's talk paper. So I have all of my paper here, and another great tip for you guys to do is to line it up like this. Mat 1, mat 2, mat 3, mat 4, mat 5, and so on and so forth. So what you can do with this is take them all, put them together like this, and fold them down. Now you'll know this is mat 1, this is mat 2, and so on and so forth. It'll be so easy for you guys to do. So after you've chosen all your colors, I sat them down and made sure that they were super close to the color in the cut file as these are. And you can see, I mean, this is just a wide variety of beautiful colors that I personally would not have probably picked, but that I think look really nice together. It's a really pretty rainbow going on right now. Now these necessarily won't be in the same order on the cut file. This is just the order of how the mats cut them in Cricut. So this is gonna be super easy to follow, super easy to do, especially if you do these steps that I'm doing. There will be way less guesswork about it. So again, I'm gonna scoop them all up and turn them all over. And I know this is mat 1, so I'm gonna get my mat. I'm gonna lay it down. Now you can lay it down either way. You can check the cut file to make sure it doesn't matter, but none of these are gonna be over 8.5 by 11 anyways, because it's just 8 by 8. So that's gonna be great. And guys, just for an added measure, this mat is not holding my paper down really well, and I have clammy hands, so it's a little bit harder for me to get that paper really well onto the mat. So I just grabbed my brayer. You probably won't have this problem, but I thought it was a nice little added extra step to kind of give it a little bit more pressure on the mat. Okay, so we have mat 1. We're gonna go ahead and load it up. And don't forget, guys, we have 10 mats to cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut all of these out. Just be super patient. Allow this to cut out well. Don't forget to have a brand new blade in your machine. That is gonna help the process out a lot. And go ahead and press that flashing Cricut button and let all 10 of your mats cut out. And guys, this cut out really well, so I can go ahead and show you. I'll go ahead and remove this, and look how cute that is. Now I'm going to very, very carefully peel my mat and peel up this mandala. Now it could have a couple of little pieces still attached on there. That's totally fine if so, but look how cute that cut. Look, guys, how adorable. So go ahead and repeat the process for all of your layers. You will have some scraping to do off the mat, as these are pretty detailed, but that's totally fine. Just keep trucking along mat by mat. Make sure your colors are correct and you're going to be golden. So let's go ahead and cut all these out. All right, guys, we have all of our pieces cut. Sorry, I know you cannot see this color, but it's a really pretty blue. If I slide this under there, you can see it. It's a super pretty blue. So you have all of this cut. I'll go ahead and say I had a couple of issues, and I'll tell you my solutions. So let me grab the mat really quick and show you one problem that I was having. So you guys know we were using a relatively used mat, and through all the scraping off of the little pieces of paper, probably around mat 5 or 6, I actually flipped it over and started putting things basically on the mat upside down, but it feeds in the Cricut just the same, completely fine, because this area was more sticky than this area that we were using previously. So that was one thing that I did. And the other thing, guys, was with mat 9, that was supposed to be that really pretty dark purple plum color. I had 2 fail cuts with it, and I finally realized it was the paper that I chose. So the paper that I chose was maybe a hair thicker, and it was also white in the center. So it had a white core, and all the rest of these do not have white cores. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I doubt it. But I had to switch to this other color. It's pretty much like a fuchsia color. It's super cute, though. So I switched it to this. It did did cut. It had a couple little areas that I had to use the Cricut True Control knife to kind of cut out and get super detailed. But it cut fine. This was the most complicated cut, and it cut really, really well. Again, you can't really see it. Let me put it on this. Those cuts are gorgeous. It did a fantastic job. I also periodically went through and made sure that my blade was nice and clean, got all the little pieces of paper that could be stuck on there off my blade. And then one thing that I also did was accidentally grabbed a piece of cardstock that was thicker. So I think it was this color right here. But I had all of my cardstocks out, and I didn't care if they were white core or the color core or thicker or thinner. I just got all the colors to match best. And I want to advise you guys, if you do that, make sure if you know a cardstock is thicker or heavier, to go ahead and change the setting accordingly. I know it can be kind of hard to do that when you're in the, in the gist of doing all of the cutting. You just want to get it done, but be sure that you go through there and make sure that your thicker cardstocks are being cut on a thicker material, because I did waste a sheet on that. So those are the issues that I had and the solutions that I am happy to give you guys, so that maybe you can learn and save time and money down the road. So now, with all these beautiful layers cut out, they look so good. The question is, which layer goes on first, which goes on last? How do you stack them up properly? So this is an amazing hack that I'm going to do for you guys. We're going to go back over in Design Space and I'll share with you this awesome hack. All right, so this is exactly how we left it. It is completely done. It went ahead and cut all of our mats for us, and now we're going to click Finish. And we're popped back here in Design Space, and I'm actually going to bring us out a little bit, because this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to click all of those, and you can make sure that they're all selected by looking in the Layers panel. I'm going to click Ungroup. And now what I'm going to do is, this one is number 1, so this one is going to go up here. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and then all these itty bitty pieces are going to be added to this first mandala. So let me go ahead and change this for you guys as well, so you don't get super confused. So this one is where all these little detail ones are going to be, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but we have 3 that are kind of like inner pieces. So I'm going to take him, put him down here, and make sure we're still in line. Then we're going to take these 3, and that's where those guys will go. Now, once you have all of these in line, all I did was drag them from the top. So this is going to be the very first piece, the second piece. This is going to go on there, and then that one's going to go on top of that, and so on and so forth with those little 3 pieces. And we're actually going to be working backwards, which is going to be super easy, so I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed. You can reference this as many times as you want. So what I mean by working backwards is we're going to start from the very last piece of paper and work our way to what's going to be on the very front of our paper. So this one is going to go down, and then we're going to apply this one onto this one. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, here is our base layer, and here is our second layer. Now, since it's gonna go like this, I'm gonna flip this guy over and add a TG to him. So again, this is our Scotch Advanced Tape Glider. This is dry adhesive. If you guys do a lot of paper crafts, or even, to be honest, if you don't do a ton of paper crafts, I would highly recommend this ATG gun. It is incredible. I think it does a fantastic job for all kinds of paper crafts, and you won't be disappointed with the quality. I know it can seem big and bulky and scary, but don't let that intimidate you. It's a really easy little gadget to use. And now once you have ATG applied there, you're going to take this and very carefully go ahead and line it up and apply this down. Beautiful. Now at this point, we know that our next one is going to be the other orangey one. We're going to be able to lay that right on top of these two and have it lay just like that. Again, if you guys have questions or concerns, consult Design Space, as it has all of the information as to which layers go on when. It is super easy if you just untangle the layers and ungroup them as I showed you. It's a super easy process, and it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. You guys know that I'm an overthinker as it is, so just making sure that all of these will go on correct is my main concern. And also, if you are ever super worried if they're not on straight, or if you know that the pattern's off or something like that, go ahead and lay them all on top of each other as it shows in Design Space. And that should give you a little bit of peace of mind to know if it's really going down how you want it to or not. Beautiful. Now next is our lighter blue layer, and this one's gonna go right there. Look how cute. So I'm just gonna flip this over and add some ATG. Now I do want to mention, guys, there are a couple pieces that are super itty bitty. So make sure you have that zig glue pen handy, or if you would rather use like a spray tack, you can do that as well. I'm gonna add a little bit of this glue pen right in the center here and around my paws. I just want to make sure that this is well glued down. Perfect. And now I'm just going to flip this over and apply it right where we want it. Beautiful, guys. Now next is our other blue layer, which is going to go on top of that. Just like so. How cute. So same thing. Add some ATG all the way around. And guys, feel free to use foam squares if you want to give this dimension, but with basically almost 10 layers, 10 full layers, you want to be careful about how thick it's going to end up. So do think about that, but of course feel free to do that if that's something that you want to do. Now line this one up, just like so. Beautiful. Now our next layer, guys, is this fuchsia layer. And the reason why I want to not go ahead and place this one down is because I want to go ahead and place my 3 little pieces down here as well, because these will go on here. So you want to be careful and make sure that you're laying these down correctly. So I'm going to just leave that as a loose layer, and I'm going to come in here with my zig glue pen. I'm getting a little bit of it on the table. It's okay, I will wipe it up. Be very careful with these areas, as some of them are pretty fragile. And then you're going to take it and apply it down right where it goes. And that glue just comes up like ATG does. It's no problem at all. And then we're going to do, we're actually going to glue our green layer down now. So we're going to flip that around, add some glue. I'm going to go in here. You can see how I'm adding it just kind of sporadically all around. I'm going to add this. Gorgeous. And now we have this itty bitty baby to add in the center. And this is the point where we might need some tweezers. So I've got us some tweezers here. I'm going to add glue. Add some glue up on all the petals. I'm going to flip this around. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Okay, now we're done with that. So all we have to do is add ATG to the back of this and add this to our base that we've been creating. They're so easy to put together once you know the order, guys. I am not saying it's not a little bit daunting or overwhelming when you first begin, because you know you don't want to waste all that time you just spent cutting all of these. You want to make sure everything's down perfectly. So just take your time when applying this. Gorgeous. And the very last layer, guys, goes right on top, just like that. So we're going to take this, add our ATG to it, all the way around. I like to get pretty close to that edge. And now apply your very last layer. Guys, it is gorgeous and pretty thick. Now the only thing left to do is place it in our frame. So I'm going to lay our frame down and place it face down here. Fit that all the way in the edges. And look how beautiful this looks. Now we can place the back on here. And make sure you place this on the correct side. I'm guilty of doing that. So this is the top. I'm going to place it right here. Beautiful. And push these little guys down. Now we are through. Guys, look how cute this mandala is. I love the way it turned out. And of course, since you know almost every member of Makers Gonna Learn has a dog or a cat, we are all animal lovers, and this little cat and dog paw is so adorable. I love how this project turned out. I cannot wait to see how you guys create it and what you do with all of our beautiful layered mandalas. This was adorable. I can't wait to hang it in my house. And if you guys have any other colors or a color palette that you're doing in your home, feel free to change up the colors. But I love that all the colors in the collection are so gorgeous. I didn't think that we should change them, so I just left them their normal colors, and they are gorgeous. This is super easy. You guys know I'm not a great paper crafter, and if I can do this, you can do this. I can't wait to see what you make with yours. Be sure to post them in the member only Facebook group, and I cannot wait to be back here again with another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.